This video is made with the sponsorship of Ecrotech New Zealand, one source for all your beekeeping requirements. Hi, Trev here from Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube. Well, today's little exercise is going to be a bit different. I'm going to show you how I make a kit set bee box, and I'm going to use my drop saw to cut them off to length, and then we're going to go through to the workshop, and on the saw bench I'm going to show you how I do all the rebates and cut in these nice D-shaped handles. And I only use my saw bench to make all this. You could do the first part that I'm using on the drop saw, but I prefer using the drop saw for cutting the squares and the saw bench for doing the rest. Just a little bit about this. This drop saw is set up, draw saw as well, is set up purely for doing right angle cuts. It is set up exactly at right angles this way, and it's set up exactly at right angles this way. So if I get my big plate square and put on here, that saw will cut exactly square. I spent a lot of time building this unit to cut exactly square. I'll show you now. How do we cut it? I've got a ruler built into here, and I've got a stop on here, which I've already set it. That's at 485 millimeters from here to here. I also have another little packer which is 80 millimeters wide, and I've got some little screws on here so I can adjust that exactly, and that's so that when I put that on there I can then trim. So this 485 is cut for the length of the sides, and with the packer in I cut the ends. Now let's turn around this way and we're going to talk about the wood. I get all my wood, it's seconds. They are 300 by 25 that have been thickness and machined down, and some of them have a few blemishes in them and they can't sell them as first grade timber, but it's all perfectly clean wood, no knots in it. And they either come in 1.8 metres long or 2.4. I like the 2.4 because I can either get 6 ends or 5 sides out of them. We'll show you exactly how much. Which way is the best one? This way. So this is the same thickness of timber, just an offcut. So if I'm cutting a 3/4 box, just want to show you a couple of things. I end up with an offcut that's 90 millimeters. In fact, it's just a little over 90 millimeters, about 95, plus the thickness of the saw cut. If I get 2 of those and biscuit joint them together, I can actually get another side out of them. So that is a side that's been glued together, biscuit joint in each end, and glued together with waterproof glue. So I can make my honey supers with that. If I cut a full depth box and it's that thickness, I get that offcut out of it. That's not really a heck of a lot of use to me as it is, except that I can split that in half again And that now is exactly the size that I need to make my hive mats. And so all I've got to do, run the saw bench down there, run a groove down there on my router, and that's already rebaited so that I can make my hive mats. So I can chop this down to 90mm, that'll make a top feeder, or I could make a 40mm size, or I can end up making hive mats. So I end up with very, very, very little waste out of my block of timber. So I'm going to show you now how we go about making a couple of boxes. So I'm not going to write down any of the measurements or whatever for you. I just want to tell you that they're all in here. In Practical Beekeeping. And we go to page 27, which is Hive Equipment, Chapter 3. And in here we have all the sizes that we need to make the boxes. So we've got the, and that includes the frame. So we've got the hive body up here, and the depth that we need to make them, either 185 for a 3/4, 240 for a full depth, and we can go and make all that. So put the book away, and we'll just show you now what I first off do is, because these are machined roughly at the timber yard, I always make sure that I cut the first cut and just trim a little whisker off there about 2mm. That just squares that cut up. Then I bring it through, I cut the 5 out of this board, bring another board in, and then I'll cut the 6 end boards. We'll end up making 3 boxes today. So, while I'm doing the machining, we're actually going to turn the sound off on the video, so you don't want it screaming at you. And that is how much waste I get off a board. I don't waste much timber. Now, without adjusting anything, I need to make the width. So with my little 80mm packer, I put that in there. And I always put a clamp on it just to stop it wandering around. Start at the same place first, trim the end, and then cut. Oh no, we got twice as much waste off this one as we got off the last one. Still, we haven't wasted too many trees. So, we'll now pick this timber up. We'll relocate into the main workshop where I'll use the saw bench and we'll make what we require. Okay, that's stage one with the box making. We've now cut the boxes, the ends and the sides to length. Next we'll do the rebates and then we'll do the handles. So that's it for stage one, box making. We'll catch you around in the beehive.